Day 2 of this winter storm in the Midwest, but we also got severe weather for southern Texas and Louisiana. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pew. It's November 29th, 2025. So just like how we mentioned in the previous forecast videos, today is going to be the worst amount of snowfall. Most places are still expected to get 6 to 10 inches of snow, but there are specific places, especially on the border of Iowa and Illinois, that may see up to 14. Now, timeframes in terms of when things are going to end in places like Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, they're probably not going to end until way later tonight from like 10 to midnight. Places like northern Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana probably won't see the end of this until tomorrow morning. So why is this all happening? If we look at 500 millibars of midway to the troposphere, looking at this trough that we've been seeing that came from the Pacific Northwest is now currently in the Midwest. And later today, we're going to see this trough become more negative, or the axis of the base of the trough is going to lean towards the east. And whenever we talk about negatively tilted troughs, we know that it brings more potential energy. So with that being said, it's going to aid in 4 different things. 1, it's going to be bringing in a little bit of vorticity or spin, and that's going to help with the upward motions. 2, it's bringing in a decent amount of shear, which is going to tilt those updrafts and enhance those updrafts. 3, it's bringing in a lot of cold air aloft, which is going to help those air parcels rise even faster. And then 4, at the surface, we're going to have this really strong low pressure system. Remember that low pressure is a counterclockwise flow, and this is bringing in a lot of really cold freezing air from the north. And that's happening behind the low, but in front of the low, we're going to have a lot of warmer, moist air being advected north. And with this stark contrast in temperatures, we're going to have a lot of high wind speed. And we can both see this at the surface and aloft as well. So if we look at 850 millibars or 5,000 feet above the surface, we can see that we have a low level jet going from the south to the Midwest. And so this is telling us even a bit above the surface, we are having some warm air advection into the Midwest. And so we're going to have a phenomenon called an isotropic ascent. And so when you combine all this together, we're basically having a lot of warm air going up in an incline in a broad sense. And this is significant for winter storms because it provides that constant gradual lift. Now, if we go down to Texas and Louisiana, it's a more classic different story. So like I said, with this counterclockwise flow, it's bringing a lot of warm, moist air from the Gulf. But behind this low pressure, it's bringing a lot of cold air. And so behind this low pressure in the plains and the eastern Rockies and a little bit of the southern plains, you guys are going to see some cold, windy gusts. You guys are going to see winds from like 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained, and maybe wind gusts up to 30 to 40. But with that being said, we're going to have a cold front that's going to be passing through Texas into the Texas-Louisiana area. And this is going to cause a line of strong storms as the cold air pushes down and forces the warm air up. And all hazards are on the table, but in a marginal risk. So for example, tornadoes, large hail, and wind. And there's even a marginal chance for flash flooding as well. And so for Texas, Louisiana, you've probably already seen some isolated storms right now, but we're going to see the most intense storms form around 2 p.m. Central Time. And this is going to last throughout the late evening.